So welcome back again. We have a basic bodice block here, and right now I want to transfer this to another paper so that I can create a bustier. And the first thing I need to make sure I do is to be sure I have stable pattern. So either you put a weight on it to hold it down, or you use your pin or sellotape, masking tape, to hold it together so it doesn't shift. So next I'm going to use this, my tracing wheel, to trace out. I'm not tracing the allowance, I'm tracing out the main pattern that we created, all the dart from the neckline, shoulder, armhole, and all that, all the inner lines. That's what I'm going to trace out on my paper. So this is to make sure I can keep this for future use. I can keep this anytime I want to create another style. I just bring this out and trace on another paper and use, so I don't have to start taking measurement all over again for that particular person. So sometimes I realize it's helpful to have something soft underneath your paper. It just helps the paper under absorb the line properly so that you can see it more visibly. I'm just going to do this rather than tracing on a hard surface. So be sure to draw out all the lines on your basic bodice. If it's a curve, you pick your curve. Another way you can transfer your paper is by using an awl or something sharp, maybe even a pin. You punch on part of your paper with it. So I actually think that may be faster, but I think more people have access to a tracing wheel than they do an owl. Okay, when I'm done tracing the front, you do the same thing to the back as well. So I don't know if you can see this closely, but I have all my lines here. So I'll just go ahead and draw it out so you can see it properly. I no longer need this. Thank you very much for your participation. Okay, so I'm drawing out my straight line. This is my waistline, remember? The underbust line, the bust line, the chest line, armhole. This is where the journey started here. So you do the same thing for the back. So So right now I want to create a princess dart bustier, and the first thing we'll be doing is to mark the midpoints of our armhole. Okay, and you still need to draw this out and beyond. So just be sure how I have my 4 inches here. Okay. I'm extending this line above the bust line. So now I want to connect this dot to midway between, sorry, not midway, 1 inch above my bust point. So I'm going to connect this way. So when you're using your curve, either this or that one, make sure the curvy part is the one closer to the bust point. So don't do this. You know this side is curvier than it is here, so don't do this. Make sure the curvy part is towards the bust point. And you don't need a sharp curve, you need a smooth curve. So let me demonstrate with this. I'm going to connect this way. Sorry, that's not clear enough. So remember, at that here, 1 inch below the bust point as well, and a 1 inch wide dart. Now we need to contour our bustier to get the best fit. Okay, so what you're going to do is take 1/2 inch. You know this is the dart leg. This is the dart line rather. So from the dart line on the underbust line, so the waistline. So on the underbust line, come in here by 1/2 inch. So we're going to be ignoring this dart leg completely because we want to tighten. This is the usual, this is the normal, this is the average and all that. But we want to create a bustier, we want to create like a curve. Hence the need for this tightening. So we are coming this way by 1/2 inch and we're going this way by 1.5 inch. That means we are extending our dart to be 2 inches wide. So we'll do the same thing on the lower part. You already have 1/2 inch here and 1.5 on the other part of the dart leg. So we have a 2 inch wide. So we're just going to connect the dots this way. We're going to connect this way, and now we're going to connect these lines we just created to 1 inch below the bust point. So remember when we marked our waistline here divided by 4, our waist circumference, we added 1 inch, right? But now we have another 1 inch extra because our dart is no longer 1 inch wide, it's now 2 inches wide. So you have to replace your 1 inch here. Okay, so and I've just marked that this way. But then we want to tighten this armhole dart slightly. So we're going to mark 1 inch down. So just take your tape and mark 1 inch. So I'm going to connect this way. So because of this, what you are taking out from here, you don't just leave this to this length, you're going to extend it by 1 inch because this is the part we'll be cutting out. We're cutting out this part of our dart, we're cutting out this part of the dart. Yes, we're cutting it out. So we'll extend here by 1 inch. This line extended by 1 inch, and come this way and extend here too by 1 inch to make up for this 1 inch you're cutting out. So I'm adding another 1 inch here. So I'll just go ahead and connect this to this 1 inch. You know, we're extended here by 1 inch as well. So let's first draw a straight line. So we have extended this line and we're going to modify the curve. Once again, take your curve and connect it back to this line. 1 inch extension here to the 1 inch extension down. So we have 2 panels now. We have this middle panel which is on fold here, and we have our side panels. So at this point, if you want to create another type of neckline, you can go ahead and modify your neckline. You can create a V neckline. You can just remember, if you extend the length of your neckline here, you have to do the same thing to the back. You have to do the same thing to the back. So probably we should work with a V neckline this time. And so what I'm going to do now, I want a wider neckline. So I'm going to take it at let's say 4.5. And if you want a V neckline, you may have to measure from the nape of your neck, the lower part of your neck, to how much exposure you are able to take at that point. So let me work with 4 inches here. This is the nape of your neckline actually. So if you have done 3 inches by 3 inches, the lower end is the whether it's not nape, I don't know. But the lower part of your neckline. So I've decided I will make use of 7.5 here. Okay, I hope that's okay. 7.5. Okay, that may not be too low. So 7.5 here, and I'll connect it here. So for a V neckline, it doesn't have to be straight V neckline. It can be slightly curvy, like I'm making mine slight. It's a very slight curve. So this is the neckline I'll be working with. And so at this point, I'm going to modify this side that, so I don't make any error. Remember, we added extra here, so that might actually change the position of my 2 inches. So I'll just mark 2 inches again. These are our new 2 inches, and connect it here. And when I'm cutting, I'll still work with the midline extended by ½ inch, join here and here. So to the last thing now, remember when we're tracing this pattern, we didn't add sewing allowance. So you can go ahead and add your sewing allowance before cutting, or I have decided I'll do my own allowance. I'll add my own allowances while cutting on fabric. So I'm just going to cut this out, and next we'll transfer to our fabric. I forgot to mention that before doing this, we need to transfer, we're going to transfer this to the armhole to add fullness here. We're going to transfer this DART. So this is how it is done, but I can actually cut it out first before showing you how to do that. So basically this side DART, you can choose to transfer it anywhere else. You can even transfer it to the neckline, as long as you create a mark from the neckline touching the bust point, and you extend this to the bust point as well. So the bust point will be the reference point, like you are turning the space you have here to another part. Okay, just watch the way I will do this. I want to transfer this to this because I don't want to sew here in. There are some styles you see a dart at the side, so that's here being sewn in, or you can cut it out. you're cutting, you don't need any sharp edge. All your darts and sides should be smooth cuts. Like here now looks like a sharp curve, right? So when I'm cutting, I'm going to make sure it's smooth. When I'm sewing, I'm going to sew it smoothly. Okay, now I'm going to close up here so that I'll be transferring these 2 inches to this side. Okay, I'm just placing this so that you see how it is done. So first I will extend this to the nipple point. And fold here. So I'm going to close this up. That's just fold the upper line of your dart and move it to the lower line of your dart. So you have this. So you have this. Now I'm going to use a tape to hold here down, and this is what I'll cut on my clothes. I'm just going to use a tape to hold here down, and this is what you cut in fabric if you're making a V-neck line for the front. And lastly, I'll be cutting out the back. This is the back without allowance yet. So just so this way you have all the pieces you need for the princess dart, bustier, maybe peplum top, peplum gown. Did I say peplum gown? Okay, maybe a peplum top, a gown with gathers below or flare below, you know, a maxi and all that. This is what you need if you want to work with a princess style line. And this is the back. So if I place this against the back here, you see that the length is the same thing with the length at the back. That's because I've closed up this dart. So the space 2 inches we had here was added this way. So if you look at it this way, so what we had, so we had more fullness here. We just had 1 inch. What we had here was transferred this way, and that's it. So make yours, just practice yours on paper, submit, and let me go through it.